You're listening to Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official podcast of Lingerie Fighting Championships. And now, here's your host, Michael Larkin.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official LFC Lingerie Fighting Championships podcast. My name is Mike Larkin, and joining me today is the newest signee, the newest recruit to LFC Lingerie Fighting Championships, and that is none other than Miss Hot Stuff herself, Miss Hollie Dunaway. Hollie, welcome to the LFC podcast, and welcome to LFC.
Thank you. I'm excited to be part of LFC.
Well,
Thanks for the welcome. I'm excited to be back on your show too. I had a lot of fun last time.
Thank you, guys. And I'm going to say this right now, guys. Check out the last edition of On the Mic with Mike, and I'll tag this in the description so everybody can listen to our first conversation with Miss Hollie Dunaway. But Hollie, LFC is calling. I saw the news on the LFC Facebook site and all over social media. It's great to have you a part, so I'm kind of curious. How'd you gravitate towards LFC? How'd you find out about Lingerie Fighting Championships?
My friend Veronica, she fought in LFC, and apparently maybe that week that I did the interview with you, she also suggested that I be part of it to them. So I think it was the combination of you, me and you, and then her. I don't know. Yeah, it all just came together, and they reached out. She got a hold of me and asked if I had any interest in fighting for, the lingerie fighting championship. So I was like, yeah, of course. I wasn't gonna go seek it out, I don't think, but I don't know. It just felt like it fell right in my lap. It happened exactly when it was supposed to, because after boxing so long and then wrestling for so long for a living, that's two of the three mixed martial arts that are in LFC. I just got to do some. I got to learn how to kick. I'm taking kickboxing now.
Well, I think that's also the great part about it too, Holly, is the stars align. And I'm going to say this right now, folks. And the Veronica she's talking about is none other than the heart stomper herself, Veronica Valentine, who made her debut back at LFC 35. There's a lot of tie-ins and coincisions and correlations here, because what's cool about it is too, a lot of the girls who are in LFC have done Hit the Mat, much like yourself with Darius. They've done Evolved Fights with Aerial X, and here we are at LFC. The world's all combined, and there's a lot of styles of combative nature, but with that sex appeal side of things too. So it makes for a hell of a time, and it makes for great product and content, right?
Yeah, for sure. LFC is definitely entertaining, and the girls are hot, and I think it's gonna be something that catapults my career, and it's just gonna put me back on the map, as far as like fighting in front of a live audience again.
And I mean, when we're talking about Las Vegas, Nevada, I mean, the last shows we just did were at the FSW Arena for Future Stars of Wrestling. There's a lot of great stuff in Las Vegas. I mean, it's the fight capital world, #1, but you have a lot of wrestling independence. There's a lot of great stuff around you. So what better way to make your debut than none other than Las Vegas, Nevada in August in the summertime, right?
And I'm comfortable with it. I fought at the Paris Casino in Las Vegas, and I fought at the Stratosphere in Las Vegas. So it's a familiar energy, and it does make you feel like a superstar, just being in that location and all the lights and glamour, and I'm ready for it.
Now, we got to talk about this here, because you mentioned something that's very operative here in LFC. Man, there's kickboxing, there's strikes, there's hits, there's takedowns, there's jujitsu, there's different types of combative natures. So you're kickboxing, man. Are you excited to take some kickboxing, man? Get him kicking to the side,
Yeah,
what have you?
sure. I am. It's the only out of MMA, it's the only one I haven't really conquered, because I'm 5'0", so I can't really reach anybody with these legs. I never even bothered trying it. It's going to be good, and I think it's going to make my core stronger, and it's. I think it'll be good. It's not going to be what I rely on, but I think taking kickboxing, if nothing else, it'll teach me how to like defend against kicks, and at least not get kicked myself. But Yeah, I'm probably gonna rely on more like 'cause they don't allow standing face punching. They're trying to keep the girls from, keep the girls pretty. But they allow standing body punching. So I can, I could place it very accurately and body snatch them and kind of dominate the fight that way and just be like, sit down if I need to, and get myself a little bit of a break. And if it goes to the ground, I haven't lost on the ground in 10 years. So I'm confident on the ground. But a lot of these girls, like you said, have competed for hit the mat as well as, session wrestling and all that. So their familiar ground is not boxing, it is wrestling. And so, I'm definitely going to shine in while I'm standing on my feet throwing punches. But I'm probably more prepared than anybody on the show for wrestling also.
Let me say this right now because, again, Hollie Dunaway, this is why I love you. You're talking about the fact that which in LFC we can't strike to the face. You can't ruin this moneymaker. And I'm going to say right now, you don't want to ruin the face like yours, Miss Hollie Dunaway, with your lovely self and your lovely grill, if you will. But you're very welcome. But also at the same time, it also gives a lot of people different ways to strategize and go into their bouts and go into the matches. And I got to say, with the nickname side of things, everybody has to have that representation of your presentation, right? We have had honey punches. We have had baby dolls. We have had El Toros. We've had Veronica with the Heart Stomper. We've had so many different names. I got to say, this is the first time in LFC history that we have had a hot stuff, if you will. So you add a new layer to the nickname side of things for lingerie.
I think so. Yeah. I'm bringing the hot stuff with it, because a lot of these girls they're hot stuff too. But I don't think there's been any like legit world champions on the show as far as like professional sports. So I am gonna, be set aside in that light. But yeah, lots of hot girls. So I'm not gonna stand out this way like I did in pro boxing.
Well, I look at it from a stance too as well. It's a huge coup because you being the four-time boxing pro, champion that you are, and just being the overall athleticism and athletics that you are, it's one of those things too with the boxing world, the wrestling world, and MMA. Like we were talking about different companies that are involved with LFC and the coincision. The world of boxing, MMA, and wrestling all comes together now with different layers with what we see going into WWE and different auspices in each and every facet. It's so amazing just to see everything come together, right? As it should.
Yeah, for sure. And I enjoy doing the pro wrestling stuff too. I'll have to incorporate a little bit of that and just for showmanship in the ring. And I don't do as much of that. I'm more of like a jujitsu ground grappler, but I can do some of the cool moves because I'm small and I'm agile. I can run up a human being. So I think I'm gonna incorporate some of those acrobatic moves into the LFC also.
I'm going to say this about you because you talk about yourself being 5 foot. For the wrestling fans who listen to this, Alexa Bliss, who's in the WWE, she always had that nickname of 5 feet of Fury. So you're kind of like the 5 feet of Fury in LFC, Miss Hollie Dunaway.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I've always thought it was an advantage, my height, as far maybe not boxing because you can't really reach your opponent when they can reach you. But in wrestling, it's always been an advantage because, my legs are right here by my arms. And, anytime somebody puts me in a choke, I can use my legs and pry out of it. And I can curl up into tiny balls and just, I don't know. It's always worked out for me. Everybody's always underestimated me for wrestling because of weight. And their weight's always worked against them.
I got to say, it'll be a very much a David and Goliath type of bouts when we see an LFC. I'm looking forward to seeing your first opponent, whoever that may be, whether it be the likes of a Lauren the Animal Fogel or Jolene Hex or Jenny Bloody Valentine. We have so many great women in the LFC. I know you're going to kill it in your debut.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm thinking everybody's going to be bigger than me, and that's okay. There might be a couple women my size, but they're not going to have. They might have some of this, but they're not going to have the strength behind it and the know-how behind it.
I got to say, Holly, I love your swag and I love your confidence, and that is certainly going to shine through in the LFC Lingerie Fighting Championship. But I also got to ask as well. I talk about the representation of your presentation because everything with Lingerie Fighting Championships, from the entrance to where you go into the ring and your overall performance, I'm kind of curious because we also have that style and that sex appeal side of things. The lingerie going into this, man, we have a lot of women in beautiful lingerie, leather and lace, what have you. They have their own style and their own finesse. So for you, Hollie Dunaway, what can we expect from the lingerie side of things? What do you think?
Well, I've got to show off my assets. So I'm pretty sure if I can get away with it, everything I wear is going to be a thong. You know, most of the girls, they've had some work done, and you know, I'm not there yet. But you know, so you got to show off like what you're really good at, or what you know, you got to show off your assets. I said it right the first time. So yeah, I'm gonna have the booty out.
I'm going to say this right now. First and foremost, that is the most blunt and honest thing I've said when we talk about the sex appeal and the booty. But I love it because I'm a pop culture nerd. And the first thing I thought of when you said that, I thought of let me see that thong. Take it back to Cisco with that
Right.
thong, thong, thong.
I didn't wear one for this, or I would.
But no, you have to do that. And as the old saying goes, when we talk about sex sells and sex appeal, if you got it, flaunt it. And you certainly have it, and you certainly flaunt it, man.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I worked really hard for my body, and yeah, no shame in my game.
Shame.
I never go too far with it. I mean, I did Penthouse, and it's, you know, it's like, hey, how you doing? But it's like tasteful in a boxing gym photos, and you know, you can't please everybody. You just got to live your life.
Oh, exactly. And I look at it from a huge stance as well with this show with beauty, strength, and dominance. Everybody has that internal and external beauty. So if we get to see your character shine through you as a whole, because we've seen your fights in Las Vegas with the likes of from Sharon Gaines and so many people that you fought, it's one of those things that really sticks out in the minds of LFC fans, and we get to see something that we've never seen before, being a Hall of Fame boxer like yourself there. So you add that, curiosity factor, and dare I say, you add that voluptuosity factor. So it's something for everyone, and we talk about we can't please everyone, but we have to please ourselves. That's the main thing, is you're pleasing yourself, and you got that vibe going into it, man. You're all about good vibes, and I got to say that first and foremost. I love your positivity.
Thanks for noticing that. And for sure, life's all about what you focus on. You know, things are going to go wrong, but you just make the best of every single thing. And then in your mind, nothing's going wrong. So nothing can go wrong, even in the LFC. Even if I get shook up, or it hurts, or I'm losing a round or something, like I've got this. I know that you can't be defeated in your head. So at all times, no matter what goes wrong, I'll always feel like it can go right.
Got to say, for those who have not checked out Hollie Dunaway on YouTube, which you should because you have a lot of great videos on your YouTube channel, Hollie really opened up about getting through anxiety, which a lot of people have gone through themselves, myself included, and really just focusing on the positivity and focusing on your blessings and doing what makes you happy. I got to say, if you've not checked out those videos, I love your videos on anxiety, man, because they really showcase a lot of realness and honesty.
Yeah, that was a tough series to do. I was going to do it just on OnlyFans because I'm a little more uncensored on there. But I knew it would be beneficial to people because, I mean, if it works for one human to overcome it, then why wouldn't it work for somebody else? And, you get to control how you feel. And a lot of anxiety is just overthinking. And it's unnecessary. A lot of stuff we can do on autopilot. So just sometimes the word autopilot will get me together. If I'm ever feeling that tightness in my chest or little anxiety for something I'm doing, and instead of like being like, oh, my intuition says don't do this, maybe I shouldn't do it. A lot of things I listen to that. But if it's something that is beneficial in the big picture to me, I'm doing it. I don't care about some anxiety. Like, anxiety, you got to take a back seat. I've got things to do. And so I just say the word autopilot to myself and then just think of something else. And yeah, it always works out well. It's just you can't focus on that negative feeling,
Right.
or it's going to stay.
Right. And you kind of have like the operative word and have a key that really gets you focused and on the grind. And I think what I love about that too as well, a lot of people talk about trust in the process. And I mean, I always say patience is a virtue. We hear that all the time. It's very cliche, but it's very apropos and it's very true in a lot of different endeavors in your life. You have to trust it because no matter how long you grind, whether it be X amount of years, X amount of months, you will obtain that goal and have a lot of achievements come your way because a lot of people need to have that. There's a reason why we're here. And to go the spiritual side, there's a reason why God put us here to apply our craft. So it's one of those things where it leads you down a great road and you're the one who has to go on that path, right?
Yeah, so true. Sure, nobody can live your life for you, and we're all gifted in our own ways. And I think the meaning to life, if you want to get all the way deep with it, is to follow your heart and follow your passions and do every single thing that you want to do because we're here to experience. And I don't want to go too far and say there is no right or there is no wrong because that's all subjective. Everybody's version of right and wrong is different. And the wrong is where you learn. So it's all necessary. It's all a journey. And you gotta do what you want. That's what it's about. You have to do what you want. And you're going to make more people happy and follow you by living your truth and doing what feels right to you and not worrying about the rest.
Two things. One, beautifully said. Number two, amen. And I look at it from a stance too as well. Everything in life is a learning experience, man. I just turned 30 years old. We're still learning stuff as we get older. So I mean, life is all about not just applying your craft, but man, god dang man, we have that learning experience and we continue to learn, and that's the beauty of it all in all, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, never stop learning. We never stop learning, but some people, especially the people who feel like they know enough, they've almost stopped learning. I mean, you're going to learn against your will also, but just having that hunger to want answers and to not feel like you have it figured out and just keep an open mind about everything. I think you'll go further in life with that sort of perspective, just keeping an open mind and, having your beliefs, but also allowing your beliefs to be challenged. If you're presented with actual evidence and instead of just being like, no, I believed this before, I'm just going to stick to my beliefs because I don't want to look like, I'm wishy-washy or, gotta.
No, and I think what's great about it too is as well because you have constantly been on the grind as far as learning and stuff because we learned a lot more about you and we'll get more into your YouTube series here. But god dang man, I voted for you. I love seeing you doing your thing. You were applying to get upon the muscle and fitness. I know you came up short, Miss Health and Fitness, but I gotta say I continue to vote. I hope you would have won, but god dang man, you worked your butt off to get there. You really did.
Thank you. Yeah, I was in first place an hour before I got eliminated. And then my opponent, because it's a popularity contest and you can buy votes contest. And so someone bought like $2,200 worth of votes for an hour out, threw it back into first. And so I couldn't catch up with that, So I joined. I was the last one to join. I joined and then they had the cutoff 2 days later for joining. Everybody else had been collecting votes for a few weeks. So I think I am going to run again in 2023. I'm just going to do it the right way with all the learning experience from the first time. And, I'm going to start when everybody else starts. But it was a lot of fun running. And I was crushed, whenever I didn't win that. In my head, I was convinced I was going to win. But you have to be like that. You have to become a world champion at anything. You have to believe you're great and untouchable, and you have to believe your own hype, and it's part of it. And sometimes you do come up short, and that's okay too. And it was okay. I really got a lot of there were a lot of benefits from just running, and it sucked because I was already in my mind, since I think I'm going to win the thing because I'm a little overconfident. I'm already thinking how I'm going to spend that $20,000 and what other magazines am I going to land on the cover of just because I've got this title of Miss Health and Fitness 2022. So I just took the ball and ran with it a little too far. And then, when I got eliminated, it took the wind out of my sails and I landed on my butt pretty hard. But it took about 4 days for me to go, all right, I see the beauty in it now. And I don't regret running, and I'm not a sore loser. And, now I was never mad at the girl, the number one or the girls, because they're doing exactly what I'm doing. It was never any ill will towards anybody. It was just like, oh, it was just, the heart in my knife, the knife in my heart.
Well, I'm going to say right now, I'm happy that you're going to run again. And I'm going to say right now, it's kind of a crime that you're not on a Muscle Fitness. And I mean that because, like I said, with your athleticism and, you taking care of your body and doing your thing, I got to say you're probably going to be in the show running. And I hope to see you on the cover of Muscle and Fitness.
Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. I got to say, well, you're very multifaceted. And here's why I love you as well, because we did the Champion CMOS thing, man. I was watching what you're doing there. We got to talk about this gel. I'm kind of curious. What is Champion CMOS? What is this gel? Can you explain it to the people?
So Champion CMOS is a company that I created, and I take dried out sea moss out of the ocean, specifically from like a certain region, St. Lucia in the Caribbean, because sea moss from that area is like, it's the most nutritionally dense thing on our planet. It's got 92 out of the 102 minerals found in the human body. And you'd be hard pressed to find something else with that much mineral content in it. And it has no smell, no taste, so you can just kind of add it to your food, the gel to your food. All I do is soak it in like alkaline spring water, fluoride-free water for like 15 hours, and then blend it up, and it turns into this clear gel. And I just sell it in glass jars. I make it myself. I don't have any employees. It's all on me. I haven't been doing it that long. Well, I've been making it for years, but just for myself. And I've always thought like, wow, it's so perfect every time I make it, like no dark spots in it. It looks so, commercialized. And so I was like, I should be selling this stuff. I've been saying that for a while. And everything just kind of tied together because I had my website, holliedunaway.com, and I'm an Amazon affiliate on that website, which means like I'm selling other people's products for like a 1 or 2%, it's not really worth my time. So, it is content pubbing those products, but if I could just have my own products, then of course I could be making a lot more money. And so I'm like, well, this is the only stuff I'm making. I guess I'm making more and more things and growing more and more things. But right now I just want to focus on just the CMOS. Maybe I'll grow it to where I'm doing different flavors or something eventually. But just trying to keep it really basic right now. And I believe in my product. It's I'm a vegetarian, so just making sure I get enough nutrition is super important to me. And that stuff, all I got to do is worry about getting enough protein because I am multivitamin covered with the CMOS gel.
Well, first and foremost, man, we talk about discipline and the discipline to your body. I mean, you being a vegetarian and we got the CMOS going. That's the thing there. It all takes a discipline, but I got to say, being multifaceted with what you're doing from the athletic side of things, and now you got your CMOS here. That's one of the cool things about it, man, because it's mind, body, and soul, and it also adds a lot. And I think a lot of people can take away or how I can discipline with my food and how I can discipline my nutrition. It works. It gives something a product for people to try and taste,
Yeah, for sure. And, it's all about being healthy all the way around, not just being healthy enough to fight somebody, but just feeling your best at all times. And that's important. Nutrition's important.
Very
If you
good.
want to feel good.
No, I feel you, and I think what's great about it too is as well portion control, and I've got to say this staying positively proactive from the discipline side of things, of what you put into your body and how you
Yeah.
focus and how you do with your body. I always look at it from the positively proactive mindset, if you will.
Yeah, for sure. And if you are getting enough nutrition, like you're getting all of the things that your body needs, you're not going to overeat. You're not even going to still be hungry and still be craving things. And so it will cut down on your overeating if you can just, make the things that you are eating more nutritious, then you won't eat as much of it. And it does take some control being a vegetarian. It's a lot of going to restaurants and not really finding much to eat. And it's not so bad in bigger cities. There's more vegans and vegetarians and stuff, more options. But I travel to fight like every 10 days or so. And when I'm on the road, it's a little tougher to find vegetarian options. And some days you're just like, recalling some steak or something that you ate that was just, so good. Your eyes rolled back into your head. And, but just replaying those memories is enough for me. And I've learned how to cook like plant-based meats and vegetables the same way that I cook regular meat. So it's, after not having meat for so long, you kind of forget what it tastes like, and you can, make things taste similar. Maybe not just who eats meat, but if you haven't had meat, it tastes the same to me.
I gotta say, now, as a young man growing up on Long Island, New York, so where I lived in East Islip, like right up the block, not too far from me, there was actually a vegetarian place called Veg Favor. There's a name for you right there, Veg Favor. They had all this like vegetarian stuff from like chicken based and stuff like that. They did a lot of stuff that was actually very healthy. And what's funny is the location where it was located actually used to be a Chinese restaurant. So that went from that to Veg Favor. Not a
You're
bad.
so lucky that you got that exposure, though, because I never knew about being a vegetarian. I just thought they were unhealthy people and they weren't getting the protein that they needed. And I didn't realize there was other ways to get what we need. I just never even considered having a meal that an animal was not slaughtered to have. Every meal was like, what meat am I having? And the sides are just like, who cares? I'll have them or I won't. But what are you having? I'm having chicken. I'm having steak, burgers. Like, it's all the animal. And my brain just never even considered like eating just vegetables. And there's protein in vegetables. And yeah, it was. You're really lucky you grew up next to like a vegetarian place. That helped you kind of expand your mind to let you know there's other ways.
Right, and it wasn't bad. Like I got to say, if anyone on Long Island, the Veg Favor, I don't know if it's still there, but I remember there's some good chicken there. That's not bad for those who have been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing too about it is too as well, like the surroundings. When we talk about horizons and surroundings, like the area where we had restaurant. We're going to a little business side of things here, man. We had a Maxwell's, which was like a bar and grill. We had another bar and grill, which was like a club right across the street. There's a jazz club. There's different stuff in the overall vicinity, if you will. And then bada bing, bada boom, we got a Veg Favor over here. So there's something for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what we need anyway.
Right. Yeah. You got to listen to your intuition, like when you're craving things, that means your body needs something. So it's good to listen to our bodies. It's not for everybody to have the same diet.
I mean, when you talk about intuition, and this is my pop culture nerdiness coming out, if Jewel, I'm talking about the one and only Jewel, can talk about your intuition, just follow your own heart, oh baby. Like, can you really go wrong? No. We're talking about Jewel here, we're talking about the poetry, the poetress, if you will, that is Jewel. Come on now.
Intuition will not lead you wrong.
Hey.
Listen to that heart and listen to that intuition, and you try to reckon with it and go, well, I'm not going to do that because, and then it never really works out, the way it should. But just recently I've kind of ignored intuition, and now I'm going the long way around to do what I should have done in the first place, and I could have saved myself a lot of energy. So it's sometimes you want that extra intuition, but then when the intuition's telling you don't do something you want to do, you're like,
Well, I got to say about you, Miss Hollie Dunaway, you got your mind right and your grind right. And I think a lot of people can obtain from those sentiments and that verbiage right there, because the mind is right, the grind is right. Let me tell you about your mind and grind here, because I watched this on your social medias. Man, Hollie Dunaway, you were talking about Beyond the Ropes, the reality show that you were part of. You did it in 2 parts. And I got to say right now, I enjoyed your watch along with your overall DVD and your reality show. Talk about filming that, man, because you did your thing. And I enjoyed watching the watch along that you did.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to shoot. I had never really spent a lot of time watching myself on video at that time, outside of like studying myself in the boxing ring. And it made me like a little self-conscious. I wasn't as forthcoming with trying to promote it before, just because I was like self-conscious in some ways. But now looking back, I mean, I'm so proud of it. I had only been out of Arkansas for a few years. So in the documentary or reality show, I talk a lot like this. My accent's real hip, so I try not to show too many of those parts. But now I've got, I hired my sister, who's a fighter also, to like do my editing and uploading for my social media management and stuff. So, yeah, I don't really have as much control over, over which parts are released and everything now. But I'm grateful to like not have to be watching myself all the time and critiquing myself. But the reality show it was really cool to just, sometimes you take life for granted. You don't realize that like the best part is now until like later when it's not the best part. And you're like, wow, that was pretty awesome. Why didn't I appreciate that more? And that was one of those times where I was a world champion living in Las Vegas, which is where you want to live if you're a boxing champion. You've got the most boxing gyms around you. You've got the most talent around you. You've got, other world champions are doing their training camp there. So you can, get to spar against people that are close to your caliber, which makes you better. And, then you've also got like an exciting, a lot to do living in Las Vegas. So it was a great place to live, nice weather, really pretty palm trees. And then, I missed my car. I saw my little, my James Bond Z3, convertible driving out there and then watching myself train with that sort of like hunger. I don't know. I'm hoping I can get that hunger back training for LFC, doing this kickboxing because, when I'm actually in the gym, I dedicate 100%. I'm not leaving any of it out, but, I'm not in the gym 6 days a week like I used to be. So seeing myself in that reality show, just give 110%, then just line one man after another to like in the ring with me. And I'm just putting them all, yeah, it was a big ego boost.
Putting them all to shame, number one. And number two, I'm going to say this about your accent. Your accent is fine. It did a showcase, which was fine. No, you got a nice accent. I'm going to say this right now.
Now, I've been gone 15 years trying to get rid of it. It was thick then, though.
Hey, man, I can respect that. I'm going to say right now, when you talk about Alabama, and it's one of the most iconic movies ever, Forrest Gump, every time he's yelling at him, I think about Greenbow, Alabama. So, I mean, hey, sometimes, right? Embrace it.
Yeah, to the rest of the world, the Southern accent is endearing. It's honest. It's and a lot of people from the South are honest. They don't, they sugarcoat things, but they're not gonna like just lie or whatever because they value. I feel like in a way they value humans and relationships a little bit more because when you're in the country, you're a little more secluded. And, people in the city, they're surrounded by people, and they're like, I want privacy. I want space. I want get away. Like, but out there, you sit out there by yourself or, with limited humans. And then when you do get human interaction, you're super excited about it and you don't want to mess it up. So I think that's why, it's a little bit, that's why like people get stereotyped as being honest or having good traits when they have the Southern accent. But I always wanted to get rid of it because I felt like people heard it and they would discount what I'm saying or think that I'm ignorant because I talk like a hick or whatever. So I really tried to get rid of it.
I got to say this. So, my mother's side, my grandfather, God rest his soul, was from Pinehurst, North Carolina, and most of my family on my mother's side is from the Carolinas. And I will say this: when it comes to Southern accent and trying to get rid of what have you, I always loved it because it reminds me of one of those things. First of all, it's a nice accent. It really is good. I don't never like think of it as a hick. I just think it as a general. We're people. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has a different accent. We all come from different cultures and different societies. So it's just our uniqueness showing, and it just it's all bringing us together. I try to think of the equality side of things and really kind of equate it to in life. Unfortunately, people have that ignorant side of things, but at the end of the day, we're all just living, trying to achieve our dreams, right?
Yeah, for sure. That's a good way to look at things. I'm looking at it more that way now. I still don't want it back, but it's there. It's always going to be there a little bit. I moved my mom out of Arkansas down to Florida with me, so she's still got the thick accent. When you get around your people, you kind of talk like them, however they talk.
I hear you. And I mean, first of all, as a kid growing up in New York, everybody thinks it's about the coffee talk and all that stuff. No, I mean,
Yes.
for me, Long Island, for those that know, and it's on not Long Island, because a lot of people say in Long Island, it's on Long Island. You come from Long Island, New York, that's the suburbs of, like New York and New York City and all that stuff. You don't hear
Yeah.
as much, but I mean, you still got the New Yorker thing. It's like my cousin Vinny. You sure about that 5 minutes? You know what I'm saying? When you listen to Joe Pesci and my cousin Vinny. So it shows. It shows.
Right. So you don't ever do it when you get around people that are from New York? You don't ever start go,
Oh, I may have to get, you know what I'm saying? I may have to lessen, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Okay, I'll make another reference.
where you from?
Yeah, it's like Tony Danza, Who's the Boss? Oh, wait, Ayo, you know what I'm saying? It's like Tony Danza, Who's the Boss, to make a reference.
Just want to relate to people.
I hear you. Exactly. Now, for you, I think what a lot of people can relate to is when you look at lingerie fighting championship, you look at Invicta, you think of a lot of women's mixed martial arts. I always like how LFC also kind of equates, and this is where Lauren the Animal Fogel comes in, who's an LFL alumni. LFL was the Lingerie Football League, used to air on MTV2 over the week
Yes.
back in the day. The Lingerie Football League was
Those girls are a lot bigger, I think. I hope those girls are a lot bigger than the ones I've got to face in LFC.
So you know what I'm talking about, but also at the same time with Lingerie Football League, it's beautiful women, sexy women just kicking butt and taking names in football, and that's why I equate it with LFC. It's sexy women kicking butt and taking names with the MMA side of things in different facets. And a lot of people would poo-poo on it because it's like, oh, how can you take it serious? It's in lingerie. It's the sex appeal. And like we talk about sex sells, that adds a uniqueness to it, you know what I'm saying? Because you can see different sports, but you don't see the uniqueness in incorporating more of the sex appeal. So it's a variety, and we talk about being that open-minded. It expands people's horizons.
For sure. And being self-conscious is just a human trait.
Yeah.
But if we can put that behind us, if we can detach from that emotion, we'll live better lives. And as women, we want to judge women, especially if you're not the type of woman that would wear lingerie in public. Then you might have a tendency before somebody who would to judge that woman. But if you would have a better life if you could just appreciate beauty in all forms and let go of judgment and let go of self-judgment and let go of judging others. And it's the women are beautiful, and yeah, I think people should just appreciate.
I'm going to say this right now. I love your operative word there, appreciate. Don't hate, appreciate, and participate. There's coin it. But no,
You just did. Don't hate, appreciate.
now I'm going to say this as well, and I said this last time in the interview. Man, Hollie Dunaway, you got that whole hot stuff thing. I got to say, we got to add high definition to that as well, because you're ass kicking in high definition, the beauty in high definition, and who doesn't love some good HD high definition, right? Add a little something to the repertoire.
Yeah, get in there. You can see it all.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely, but no,
just makes you a better version of yourself.
right, exactly. Beautifully said. And no, I think from a stance too as well. I think you're going to add a lot to LFC, and there's been a lot of new girls coming in. LFC just had their booty camp events, and we have a lot of new girls coming in, a lot of familiar faces being against the veterans, a lot of debuts, and a lot of newcomers. It's great to see the talent pool in the lineup, such as yourself, coming in, because a lot of people don't realize a lot of people want to do this. We've seen people from pro wrestling who've gone on to WWE and different auspices of professional wrestling. We've seen people who've done adult fetish work, people who box. There's something for everyone, like we mentioned, but it's very cool to see the worlds coming together, and I think you're going to add a lot, and I think a lot of people are going to be in a treat come this summer. And it's going to be a good summer. It ain't going to be no cruel summer. It's going to be a good summer. It's going to be a hot stuff summer, if you will, Hollie.
Yep, it's so right. I'm looking forward to it.
I cannot wait as well. And I'm going to say this before we close this out. Hollie Dunaway, you're such a pleasant and positive person. I love having you on the show. I definitely want to have you back on for a round 3. It's such a pleasure.
I'm in. Let's do it.
Absolutely. I love your go-getter and your passion, woman. So I got to say, before we close this out, man, you're on all forms of social media. We're talking about Facebook. We're talking about Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, OnlyFans, your own website. Please promote the social medias. The floor is yours, ma'am.
Just look up Hollie with an IE on the end. Dunaway, just like Faye Dunaway. Hollie Dunaway on any social media. You'll find me. I'm easy to find. And my website is holliedunaway.com.
And I'm going to say this right now, so I'm going to ask you, because you talk about the easy with the IE. How many people just type it in with the Y?
It happens. People will write to me and put the Y on there. My parents had to be difficult. That way I get my name misspelled my whole life, and I have to say my name and spell it. I don't think parents really take that into consideration when they're naming their kids. Like, oh, are they going to have to spell their name every single time they say it through their whole life? But it does separate me, because if you go to Google and just type in my first name, you don't really need to remember Dunaway. And that's mostly thanks to my parents, putting the IE on the end. So I'm grateful for it. And I don't mind that people just assume it's the normal way of spelling. It's, sometimes when I get tired of correcting people, I wish it was the normal way, but it's not. And I love it. It doesn't matter.
First of all, I will say this. I'm cracking up because this woman said my parents had to be difficult. Let me tell you something right now. It's like DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. Parents just don't understand. But no, I understand. It's uniqueness.
I did, and I'm just now understanding the importance of it.
But that's the uniqueness too with the IE. And I mean, I look at it from a stance too. Well, look at wrestling, like the Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff Hardy. They didn't spell it with the S, they spelled it with the Z. So it adds a little different layer to it. Sometimes you got to change your name up a little bit for marketing, right?
Right. Yeah.
Now, one other thing I got to mention to you, folks.
Maybe I can get superstar level and just go by my first name.
Hey.
Everybody will know who Hollie is. Hollie with an IE, duh.
Snap. Okay. Go the China route. Go the Hollie with the IE. Go the Ultimate Warrior route. Just, dude, be like Prince. Be like Prince, man. Just don't turn yourself into a symbol, man. One other thing I got to mention, folks, if you've not checked her out on OnlyFans, because the links will be in the description, we got to talk about your OnlyFans here, man. Great interactions, great sex appeal, great vibes, man. You're killing it on the OnlyFans on Miss Hollie Dunaway.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, I shot night before last. I shot some content there. It's fine. It's uncensored. I don't have to worry about what I say or what I wear. So I don't have to worry about offending people, because the most offensive stuff gets the most likes. And I just get to be a free bird on there. So OnlyFans is a lot of fun.
And these words you cannot change, man. Channel your inner Leonard Skinner to be that free bird that you are on the OnlyFans front. Okay. It's great content, folks. And once more, the links will be in the description. And Hollie Dunaway, I got to say this first and foremost, man. Do you have any final words for the Lingerie Fighting Championships faithful? Get to be in a treat to see a Hall of Fame 4-time pro boxing world champion like yourself. Do you have any final words for the LFC fans?
Stay tuned. It's going to be whoever I fight, it's going to be the most exciting matches. And it'll, of course, have that pro wrestling theatrical element to it, like all LFC fights, but I think it's going to have a little bit more realness than any of the faux fighters that, and the fights that are displayed on LFC. So I think it's going to have a little bit more of a serious aspect to it, just because, I'm going to try and give everybody a good show, but, I'm probably going to hurt some people with those body shots. Fully intending on it.
Realness and authenticity, hot stuff, baby deceive me. Gotta have some fun tonight. Hollie Dunaway, before we close this out, folks, LFCfights.com, fights_LFC, LFC_fights, Instagram, Twitter, and the official website for Lingerie Fighting Championships. And you can check out this podcast on the Roku network, and you can see that face, that being Hollie Dunaway, and this face on the LFC podcast, and so much great content from Get Wet, from Bods and Mods. It's a great time on the Roku side of things. But as I always say to end this show, beauty, strength, and dominance, the 3 key elements that make women the work of art that they are. And Hollie Dunaway, hot stuff. I include you in those sentiments. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Have a good one, guys. Bye.